In this lesson, we're going to learn how to play the three main rhythms used to count music on the guitar. And they sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. As you've already learned in the concept videos, there are three main rhythms that are used to count most music. And they are, again, quarter notes, eighth notes, and 16th notes. So depending on the song that you're learning or writing, you're going to count the song or count out the rhythms using either quarter notes, eighth notes, or 16th notes. You've already learned a little bit about how to do that, and now we're going to learn how to do that specifically for the guitar. So if you're counting in quarter notes, again, most measures have 4 counts in them most of the time, and you're going to be basically counting up to 4 and then starting over again for the next measure. And on the guitar, when you play that, we'll just play it on a G chord, you're going to actually strum down every time you count. And so you're going to be playing every time you count, and it's going to be a down strum if you're using a pick, or if you're using your fingers if you're strumming. So it'll sound like this, just 1, 2, 3, 4. Moving into eighth notes, the idea here is that the numbers will stay there, and your strums will still be down every time you count a number. Only this time we're going to add an and in between the numbers. And for the ands, you strum up. You're going to strum a little bit lighter than the down strum. The down strums will be a little heavier. And the up strums on the ands will be a little bit lighter. And so the idea here is you're going to keep the numbers evenly spaced. So there's an even amount of space between the numbers, just like there were in the quarter notes, but we're just going to now, on the way up, play again a little lighter. So that'll sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're strumming using a pick or your fingers, you'll notice that on the downstroke you're probably going to strum all the strings, or at least the strings that you want to play for that song. And on the upstrum, you might not strum all of them. You might just strum the very top strings, just to give it that feel and that count. Okay? So remember, down on the numbers, up on the ands when you're counting in eighth notes. So putting those two together, that'll sound like 1, 2, 3, 4. Now eighth notes, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, the numbers stay steady and even, and the same amount of space between them, whether you're counting quarter notes or eighth notes, right? If we're keeping the tempo the same. Moving into 16th notes sound a lot faster because now in the same amount of space, you're playing 4 different notes. And again, these are counted 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. And now you're just not going to count again with a heavier downstroke on all the numbers, and then a lighter up, down, up when you say E and a after each number. Okay, so it's going to go 1 E and a. Okay, so keep the downstroke on the numbers, your down strum, a little bit heavier, and then a little up, down, up every time you say E and a. So that would be sounding like this. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Okay? So putting these together, your goal is going to be able to play a measure of quarter notes, right into a measure of eighth notes, right into a measure of 16th notes, without changing the tempo or the speed that you say the numbers. Okay? So that will sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now eighth notes. 1, notice that there was the same amount of space between the numbers for each of those measures, and that's what we want. So you'll be working with your coach on getting your first 10, 20, or 30 repetitions on doing this. And your goal this week is to get 100 correct repetitions of just playing one measure of each of these right into the next one and keeping the tempo steady. You can choose a chord that your favorite chord. I wouldn't choose more than one chord just to make the focus be on the rhythm itself, and you can start adding chords in after you get your 100 repetitions done. And so your goal, their mission this week is to get 100 correct repetitions on that. And on your phase 3 chart this week, you have all the chords in the major key, the 7 different chords, and your major scale, and then a quick review of the notes on your E string, your low E string. And again, you just want to do these items one time and then move into mastering this next skill, getting your 100 correct repetitions.